Isuzu fans, I'm back in the engine bay and I've actually poured down in my port something called sea foam, and it's already pulled all that carbon off that was sitting on the edge. Like this right here, see how black that is? It's already pulling that off. So I'm gonna let it sit there for a few minutes and see how that does. And in the meantime, I'm gonna try to figure out how to take these bolts out and on the fan housing and how to get these belts out and whatnot, and hope I do it the correct way. I also figured while I'm in here, I'm going to try to pull out this main inlet pipe. I'm going to try to get all that. Hold on a second, guys. There we go. I want to get, oops. There you go, buddies. Sit there. Sorry, the camera's pointing the wrong direction. I'm trying to get all these rags out with all that coolant down there. It's just gushing coolant out. And if there's any left, I have an actual pump, a hand pump, and I can pump all the fluid out. I actually got it so I could pump all the fluid out of here once it's finished its job down in there. The good thing is the water, or excuse me, the fluid's not moving, so it's not getting inside the cylinder. So I can pump that out, stuff a rag down there, dry it up, and even when I start this thing, this is actually some kind of a really highly modified type of gasoline. It doesn't do that kind of damage to the valve system or down in the cylinders. It doesn't hurt it or anything, so that's good. I may even try to clean that up. I don't know. I'll think about that, but I just don't want that new little O-ring to be jeopardized on the end of that coolant pipe. I'm going to try to take this other pipe out here. It's got a screw down right there. So I gotta take that apart. I'm gonna try to wiggle him out of there. He's been a booger, but I guess if I really give it the beans today, maybe it'll come apart. I want to show everyone the lower inlet pipe. That's the O-ring that goes bad. So I'm gonna clean this whole thing up and put it back into that main part right where my middle finger's trying to point. But once you unscrew this bolt right here, these are pretty hard to get out. So you're gonna have to take like a small pry bar and just gently press and it will come out. Well, I've done a mistake by leaving some of that coolant in the bottom, but I think it'll evaporate. I've reattached that bolt. I put that bolt in there and I'm gonna start tightening it, and that will hopefully will mate inside there. You can still see that O-ring pipe. I've also tightened the bolt down right there that you can see. So everything's good here. This is soaking in sea foam. Look how much it's already cleaned that one. It's phenomenal. But I did take a rag down there, so I may do that to these other ones. I may stick a rag down there and try to use my fingers to clean it out a bit. And then, man, I'll probably have to put the gaskets back on this, reattach them. I mean, of course, I'll do this kind of stuff, replace those, but then I'll reattach the fuel rail and the intake manifold, and we're good to go. Okay, Isuzu people, so just to catch up on what I've been working on, I'm trying to replace this pipe back here. It's really hard to get on. I'm trying to replace that pipe with a new one, and I made a really bad mistake, and I poured in this port, I poured sea foam down in here, and I went all the way down to the cylinder, all the way down to the piston. So now I've got to take out the spark plug and try to put a fish tank tube down there and try to siphon out some of that sea foam, because I don't want to hydrolock the engine. But I have replaced the O-ring in there and the O-ring in the inlet pipe down there where my finger is. You can kind of see it comes from here, goes under the main coolant pipe. I don't want to unbolt all that and show you again. I've already done it in previous videos. So I guess my task today is to just get those stupid hoses back on. They're kind of a bear to put on. I don't know why, but they're stiff. They don't want to move. So see what I can do. But I also want to go ahead and let me get this wiring back over there. I want to go ahead, and this is the cylinder in question. I want to go ahead and unplug those, get down in there, and get the spark plug out so I can siphon out all that junk that's down in there. Okay, so I've been able to get my siphon hose all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and try to suck it all out. I've got it running down underneath the car and trying to use gravity to help me out in this situation, because I don't want all that sea foam to hydrolock the engine. Okay, so I've taken out those hoses that was here, and here. I'm gonna try to take off this whole assembly. I've tried to in the past. It's been a bit of a bear because the bolt's way down there, but I'm gonna try to anyway. Just at least get something behind there to try to knock it loose or something, because I feel like that's the only way. There it is down there, see them? Right there. That's the only way I'm gonna be able to reattach those hoses, and I wanna do this as easily as I can, so I'm gonna try that. So I've not decided to remove that bolt completely, but I have gotten it to where it flexes. This will make this job probably a lot easier now. Heck yeah. So I've gotten these pipes kinda on, but I just realized that in order to take off the valve cover, I've got to take this off, or I could try to slide it out. I don't know, but I need to see if I can even get these valve covers off. I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but you know, I kind of wanted to put the throttle body back on first, so I don't know, we'll see. Let me see if I can at least get these bolts loose and something. Okay, I've actually just drained the oil. I'm going to try to get these bolts off the valve cover and see if I can't remove it. You have to drain the oil in order to do the valve covers. Unscrew that, of course. If you don't, you'll get oil all over the dang place. So I did that. I may have to remove these fuel lines and start moving ahead on that. Now I'm also going to go ahead and remove all the spark plugs. You can see I've got my extender wrench down in there, and I'm going to get all of them out. That'll make the valve cover removal a little bit easier. And then I'll remove that bolt, that one right here, and there's one down there for the fuel lines, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling. So I'm having a hard time getting the last two on both sides out. I'm going to go ahead and proceed on with the fuel rail and try to loosen some of these bolts that are keeping the valve cover in, and see what that gets. Okay, so just in case I forget of loosening up that nut right there, had to use an actual little wrench. I'm going to use my finger. Oop, there it is. I'm just wanting to record this so I don't forget what I did here, and that'll help this whole assembly move, and it's easier to get off that bolt that you're looking at between those two lines down there. I just lost that screw. It's way down somewhere in this dark abyss. I thought I heard it drop on the ground, but I do not see it on the ground. I'm gonna have to go to Home Depot and get some kind of a copy bolt. I'm gonna say this about Isuzu: this is pure shit. This whole thing. They designed this. This is in the way. You have to go way up underneath here, way under the valve covers to find this bolt. It's this huge bolt. You can't see it. They did this so you can't take the valve cover off. They did this so they could have to do it themselves and make this job a whole lot heck harder than it's supposed to be. They put that over top this valve cover bolt for the same reason. It's really design flaws like this that really piss me off. Piss me the hell off. After this car, I think I'm done with the Isuzu. I lost that bolt down there, somewhere in the dark abyss. I'm really frustrated with this car right now. Very frustrated. Okay, earlier I had a hard time getting this guy off. If you look down there where my socket is, that's the screw to help kind of get it out. And maybe I could possibly just move this around or pivot it, you know, that way or this way. But God, I had a hardest time getting down in there and getting to it. Well, Tim in the Isuzu Trooper page, I think his name's Vanderwall or Wonderwall, went underneath the tire well, and I got it. And that's all I had to do. Finally gotten this to move freely so I can get to those kind of bolts. One down there where my finger's pointing, and another one way down there. I'm going to use this extension. We're going to get that little booger out today, that's for dang sure. Well, this is the valve cover just got off. That's the rocker shafts. We have to clean and change and make pretty again. I'm just appalled at how big this is. Thing's huge. This is my hand. This is how big it is. Look at that. Look how dirty it is too. That's 25 years of felt caked on there.